Hello everyone, kita bertemu lagi di episod ketiga dalam program Cakap Harimau oleh Cakap Sukan dan anda masih bersama saya, Steffi. So, I think everyone is still happy with our performance, especially kita dah menang untuk kali kedua dan kita berjaya mengutip 6 mata. Anda happy, saya pun happy. Okey, baiklah. Pada hari ini, yang akan menemani saya ialah pengulas bola sepak tanah air yang juga CEO Kuala Lumpur City FC, Stanley Bernard, yang baru sahaja menjuarai Piala Malaysia. Jadi, apa khabar Stanley?
Khabar baik.
And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Stanley happy tak?
Especially with the KL Malaysia Cup win and then followed by kemenangan Malaysia semalam, of course. I think we are showing some progress. Yep.
Yes. Selepas, especially okay, we are talking about Kuala Lumpur City FC. Selepas penantian selama 32 tahun, boleh tak Stanley bercerita sedikit tentang how's the journey and all? 32 tahun tu lebih kurang umur saya tau.
Saya pun baru lahir time tu.
Yeah.
Saya masih tidak dapat merumuskan benda tu sebab tak ada perkataan yang boleh katakan boleh sum it up. Setakat ni sudah hampir 10 hari. Tapi apa yang saya boleh katakan adalah ia memberikan satu tapak lah, permulaan untuk Capital City of Malaysia Football Club untuk grow daripada from this step. Tetapi journey bukan mudah. It's been 16 months. Menguruskan dia asam garam dia, selok belok dia, tiada presiden. Sebelum saya hadir, dia berbeza dia dijalankan oleh FA. Saya CEO pertama. So saya tidak ada satu buku untuk panduan. Terpaksa bina daripada scratch. Tetapi berterima kasih kepada jurulatih, pemain dan beberapa administration yang telah membantu saya dalam satu keadaan yang bukan mudah. Betul. Tetapi dengan rezeki Tuhan, it was an amazing story.
Yes. Anyway, congrats again. Like everyone macam semua tak sangka kan. Like okay, but okay, we kita letak tepi cerita Kuala Lumpur City FC and kita nak bercakap tentang pasukan Malaysia kita. Jadi 6 mata dalam perlawanan kedua dengan aksi pasukan Malaysia tampil dengan first 11 yang berbeza dari game pertama. Jadi, apakah pandangan Stanley? Saya merasakan apa yang akan berlaku. Saya pernah mengatakan ketika menentang Cambodia adalah the benefits of beberapa pemain yang tidak bermain begitu banyak minit dalam Liga Malaysia. Kerana tahun ni Liga Malaysia antara jadual paling sukar. Betul. Bila tutup, bila MCO, bila PKP, PKPD. Siapa pun tak tahu. Betul. Dan it was stretch around 11 months. So apabila tu berlaku, banyak pemain yang bermain first 11, boleh katakan 11 bulan mereka dalam liga. Bukan mudah apabila Malaysia Cup final 30 November, first game lawan Cambodia 6 Disember, 6 days preparation. Betul. Masa yang singkat. So dalam masa yang singkat tu, apa yang akan berlaku, saya rasa the players that will benefit is the one who didn't play enough minutes in the club. Okay. Mereka akan mencari, mungkin game pertama adalah game mereka mencari match fitness. Second game, mungkin di situlah mungkin 90 minutes yang telah diambil dalam menentang Cambodia telah dibawa ke Laos. Dan fitness mereka, as you know Steffi, you know the first game is always the hardest game. They said the warm up game.
Yes, correct. Yes, and you fine tune. Even though you're fit, match fitness is a different thing. Betul. As you understand. So I think that psychologically, situ adalah kriteria paling penting. Betul. Bagi saya apabila pemain-pemain lebih sesuai dengan diri mereka sendiri dahulu sebelum kita berbincang tentang first 11 yang telah diturunkan. Kalau kita lihat pun memang kurang chemistry for the first game, tapi second match kita tengok more chemistry and banyak corak permainan pun nampak dengan midfield seperti Badrul. I think he did a lot of like hantaran yang sangat baik dengan midfielders banyak bekerja keras. Lepas tu di bahagian serangan pula kita nampak sangat-sangat aktif mencari ruang kosong seperti Lukman. He's always in the attacking third and mencari, dia sentiasa berlari lah untuk menunggu bola hantaran daripada midfielders. Jadi what do you think about this boy? Satunya, saya rasa Steffi punya pengamatan baik dari segi satu
Bila Badrul boleh hantar bola, maksudnya ada option di hadapan. Badrul is only as good as the runners. If there's no run, you can't see that 60-meter ball, you can't see that 30-meter ball. So bagi saya, apa perbezaan yang paling ketara adalah individu number 9 bagi saya. Apabila you bermain dengan seorang individu number 9, number 9 ni banyak karakteristik. Ada yang good goal scorer in the box, movement tak bagus, tapi dalam box predator. Ada yang memang macam Lokman, ever willing workhorse, going into the channels. And then you got replacement, Arif Aiman and Safawi running into the space which Lokman is going out. That's what we saw against Laos. We saw an attacking team that understands each other's strengths. There was not one point dalam perlawanan itu kita nampak seorang pemain berkedudukan seperti number 9 yang akan datang minta bola lay off. Tak ada salah, tetapi berbeza. It looks like that team that played Laos yesterday is more suitable to the style of midfielders we have. That's what I think you were trying to allude to. Badrul Bakhtiar, what is his strength? He can pinpoint a pass 30 meter, 30 meter hantaran tepat. Tetapi untuk melakukan tu, beliau memerlukan pemain-pemain membuat larian.
Seperti gol ketiga dan keempat menentang Laos, kita tengok hantaran semua daripada Badrul Bakhtiar and man running from behind and then goal.
Betul.
So I think saya harap perlawanan menentang Vietnam esok Badrul boleh kekalkan momentum itu. Dan apa yang anda masih nampak yang lopong, yang kosong atau kesilapan yang jelas, especially bila kita menentang Laos?
Yang masih kita melihat adalah beberapa kali di mana pertahanan kita dalam transition lah, which is normal. It's the hardest thing to do in football. Apabila anda fokus dengan ball possession, dalam split second kamu kehilangan bola.
Betul.
Dan itu memerlukan sedikit masa. Apabila anda mengatakan tentang the strengths of the team when they are tight together defensively. So it's not easy untuk national coach dalam 5 hari dengan pemilihan yang ada, bertukar line up untuk dapatkan the structure yang he wish. It won't happen naturally. But saya merasakan dengan kemenangan yang ada semalam, terutamanya improvement daripada Cambodia ke Laos, sebab lepas Cambodia menang pun rasa macam ramai mengatakan tentang performance masih tidak ada pada tahap yang Malaysia boleh lakukan. Saya rasa itu secara natural akan membantu pertahanan untuk menggunakan formasi mereka sendiri. Tapi saya rasa dari segi transition, di situlah mungkin Tan Cheng Ho, Coach Bala akan melihat bagaimana untuk lebih cepat mereka menguruskan diri mereka dan positioning mereka.
Saya setuju itu. Tiada kelibat Dipola sehingga minit ke-81 dan dia menggantikan Safawi. Adakah ia menggambarkan Coach Tan Cheng Ho dia lebih berani meletakkan pemain-pemain muda daripada digunakan Dipola?
Saya merasakan mana-mana jurulatih dalam dunia, saya mengenali beberapa jurulatih saya pernah bermain yang top elite coaches, mereka selalu percaya kepada seorang pemain been there done that concept. It's always like that. That's why they are maybe winners. Tetapi kadang it's up to the players to prove themselves, and then the coach has to take that step. So well done to both. Satu, pemain-pemain yang telah masuk menggantikan Dipola ketika menentang Cambodia. In that 75 minute to 98 minute ketika menentang Cambodia, Malaysia created more chances than the whole 75 minutes. Then 15 minutes is more than the 75 minutes. So that's them proving that they can do it. Then it's important for me as if I was in Tan Cheng Ho's place, and he did it, so credit to him, that he rewards them. They've proven they can take on the responsibility. Lokman can, Safawi can, Arif Aiman can,
and Fikri pun
and to be fair, Kogi has been doing really well last 2 games. And that's what he's said, if you perform, I'm going to give you a chance, and that's what he did. So and he played off. Sometimes he doesn't, but dalam keadaan ni ia telah berbaloi apa yang Tan Cheng Ho percaya beliau nampak, dan pemain-pemain return in their performance.
Apa komen Stanley tentang Dipola?
I totally believe he is a player that cannot play at this level anymore. Because the demand of modern day football is very demanding. example kita hubung kaitkan dengan Romel KL Romel Morales. Pada mulanya beliau tidak boleh main penyerang. Kita tak ada penyerang, kita dapat 2 injury. So Boyan dengan saya bekerja, saya psychologically, Boyan of course on the pitch. To make him believe that he needs to be more mobile, he needs to lose more weight, he needs to be faster. These are the things that made him to score 10 goals in Malaysia Cup. With Dipola, maybe he have it in him, but at the moment what he's showing since our World Cup qualifiers, which was in April, and carried on till today, he's not getting any younger. He might be a good player, maybe in the past could have played at this level, but at the moment not good enough for this level.
Will you say for the next match it's better not to play him first?
If the boys, kalau pemain-pemain yang telah diturunkan, contohlah kalau semalam Dipola menjaringkan hat-trick, Dipola berhak bermain.
Betul.
It's a result business game at this level.
Yes, exactly. And
so
also kalau kita tengok pun Dipola performances tak begitu mendatangkan benefits to the team.
Different type of player. I think Dipola, like I mentioned, there's no wrong with him coming and holding play, turning, shooting, because he played for KL in 2018, 17, 18 and 19. You will see 3 phases of Dipola. 17, Premier League, probably brought the team up. 2018, number 10 with KL, but one of the best goal scorers. 2019, he went down. Perak, he went down. He's never recovered the form. So we are looking at a player who probably had his best season in 2018. Today we are 2021. In 1 month time we are 2022.
Yes, exactly.
So he cannot go and change his play. I don't want to go and say the player is not good enough or good enough. I think the level is here. At the moment Dipola is here. It's up to the technical people to make this decision.
Yes. Okay Stanley, kita akan berehat sebentar and stay tuned for the next segment. Baiklah, kita kembali semula dalam program Cakap Harimau. Okay Stanley, mental pemain terganggu. Okay, as we all know, di saat momentum pasukan semakin baik, tapi kita mendapat berita buruk yang iaitu Quentin dan juga man of the match menentang Cambodia Akia Rashid didapati positif COVID-19. Dan sekarang Malaysia hanya tinggal 20 pemain kerana 4 pemain dijangkiti COVID-19. Jadi, adakah this situation dia boleh mengganggu pemain punya mental?
Dari pengalaman saya, Steffi, ya memang technical apabila anda dengar Quentin Akia had a good game, of course the impact is there because you're losing one good depth. Tetapi dalam pengalaman saya melalui KL, melalui sepanjang karier saya apabila saya bermain dalam management, kadang-kadang inilah faktor turning point dalam dressing room.
Betul.
Selepas berita tu, apa yang saya lihat daripada kamp negara dalam bilik persalinan is a very strong unified dressing room.
Yes.
Because maybe the selection was right, the first 11 selection was right. And the players who went out did not think that we are losing for Akia, we are losing Akia and Quentin. Instead, they said, let's play for Akia and Quentin. So di situlah saya telah melihat mungkin ini mungkin menjadi inspirasi mereka, mungkin motivation point mereka
untuk bermain lebih baik.
Correct. And do not make it an excuse. And that's what they proved yesterday with that performance. Instead of looking at it as a problem, they turned it around and they made it positive. And this is what a good group of dressing room, an environment which, look, anywhere in the world, Steffi, you've played as well. There will be cliques in the dressing room. You cannot. That is part and parcel of football. But these cliques can be positive. There's the leaders connect with each other. In KL, we know what is in the dressing room, but we have a proper unified team. There was a family. But they still, you know, you will have 4 or 5 going dinners together. You will have 5, 6 going lunch together. Part and parcel dalam lumrah bola sepak mana-mana kat dunia. Manchester United ke Liverpool is the same. You cannot change that. That's part and parcel of how humans are. Tetapi how you turn that around as a leader, which is Tan Cheng Ho, was fantastic, because at the end the boys turn yang tu menjadi point motivasi mereka, and they went out and
fought until and then
super
they won.
Performance. That's what is all about at the end of the day.
Saya pun berharap dengan performance yang sangat positif ini, dan saya harap pemain-pemain boleh mengekalkan momentum yang baik. Especially kita tengok pemain kita yang bertemu Laos, especially Safawi Rashid, man of the match and also hat-trick scorer. This boy, wow, he played so good, and dia banyak melakukan larian yang mengucang-acingkan, and he pressed a lot, buat pressing yang baik. Next game bertemu Vietnam esok.
I think honestly Steffi, jadual tu membantu, telah membantu preparation kita untuk menentang Vietnam. We could have not got a better schedule. Because you could have started playing Vietnam first game. You could have played Indonesia first game. Instead, you played Cambodia and you're playing Laos. It's almost like the two games that you have in a friendly match before you come to a big game. And that has served us well. So I believe, yes, if you go to individualistic performance, Arif Aiman back of the MVP for 4 cups, I think, in ABK. 19 years old, came through proper conditioning, which is NFDP program. KL boy. And he has come a long way. I believe in 2 years he has grown so much under JDT. Good on them, because they're playing at the most elite level in Malaysian football, and they're winning leagues back to back. Apa yang berlaku di sini, saya rasa Arif Aiman is showing the mental of playing international football. Yes, you can be at the best at Malaysian League, you can be the best at Malaysia Cup, but international football is another beast of its own. So I believe Arif Aiman has taken few steps, not established yet, few steps towards showing us indication that he could be Malaysia's best player.
Betul. Saya sangat-sangat suka dengan permainan Arif Aiman, kerana beliau, kalau kita tengok dia seorang pemain yang sangat kompos and sangat tenang. Kalau Stanley tengok pun muka dia like very relaxed. He's like, alamak, ada bola ke tak ada bola, he's still there. And then, but then, like I said, like you said also, dia sentiasa akan pergi untuk mendapatkan bola, and kita tengok gol-gol daripada menentang Laos berpunca daripada Arif Aiman juga. So I think Arif Aiman memang diperlukan menentang Vietnam esok, dan saya harap Coach Tan Cheng Ho boleh mengekalkanlah sebersedikit first 11 menentang Vietnam. Jadi kita, when we look at the team, the first 11, kita ada Arif Aiman, Luqman and Mukairi Ajmal. What do you think about Mukairi Ajmal?
He's still finding himself in the best position. He's a good player. I like his mentality towards a football match. I think he's a bit crazy, in a good way. In a good way. You look at Zlatan Ibrahimovic, you look at Paul Pogba, the best players in the world. They've got that little tipping over of being crazy, and that's why they go on to win World Cups. They become the players they are. It's a very volatile industry. You lose, people will come after you. You win, they love you. In 24 hours, you lose, they hate you. It's a very demanding, cruel industry in a lot of ways. You're loved when you're loved, you're hated when you're hated.
Love-hate relationship.
So that yeah, absolutely. And you've been through that, you know. So bagi saya lihat apa yang ada kat Mukairi, he's finding his feet in the best position at the moment. At PKNP, he played on the right, and then of course he moved around before he reached Selangor. In various positions, Selangor has used him on the right as well, left, sometimes be backup striker, and Tan Cheng Ho used him as a 6 to replace Junior Elstel menentang Cambodia. So one thing you can take positive out of him is the coach trusts him. The coach trusts him in various positions. He's already a utility player. But what is Mukairi Ajmal's best position? It's for him to tell everyone which is his best position.
Yes. So what do you think, like Junior and Mukairi? Like kita tengok pun Mukairi menggantikan Junior sebab mungkin bagi first game menentang Cambodia kurang ada keserasian di antara Badrul, Junior dan juga Syafiq Ahmad, betul?
Saya mempunyai pendapat yang berbeza. Saya rasa tidak perlu ada pertukaran 25 minutes. Ketika itu kita sedang mendahului 1-0. Tetapi I have to say, The head coach job is to call these big calls.
Yeah.
If it goes against him, he gets backfired. He got away with the win.
Yeah.
So his call is right. At the end, that's what it means. At
Results.
this level, it's result. First, performance second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, result tu penting. Jadi perlawanan menentang Vietnam esok, kita perlukan kemenangan. Okey, kita akan berehat sebentar and kembali balik selepas ini. Tiada lagi mimpi indah kerana bertemu Vietnam adalah lawan sebenar esok. Jadi, kita tengok dari segi ranking Vietnam jauh lebih baik kedudukan ke-99 dunia manakala Malaysia ke-154. Malah rekod sebelum ini juga memihak kepada Vietnam. Okey, Stanley, Coach Tan Cheng Ho menggunakan kepelbagaian di bahagian serangan. Adakah ia mencukupi atau kita ada pilihan lain yang maksud saya dari segi gandingan mana paling tepat untuk kita bertemu Vietnam esok?
Saya merasakan beliau cukup pengalaman menentang Park Hang-seo. Kenapa Vietnam begitu baik dalam I would say the project has been about 6 years. It started with Toshiya Miura and then he went to Park Hang-seo. Park Hang-seo probably one of the best transitional coach in Southeast Asia, hands down. Dia pernah pergi ke peringkat yang begitu tinggi, tewaskan pasukan-pasukan besar ke final Piala Asia. So bagi saya melihat di situlah permainan catur antara Tan dengan Park Hang-seo lebih daripada pemain yang akan diturunkan, sebab you can put whatever players on the pitch, but if you don't manage that transition, kita kalah Suzuki Cup, the last Suzuki Cup final dengan mereka. Betul. Kita kalah ketika qualifying pun. So kita dah mengetahui Park Hang-seo's level of transitional play. Quang Hai alone is enough to destroy our defense if we don't know how to handle it. Dia one of the best, and you know why he's playing abroad. So for me, Tan Cheng Ho's pemikiran mungkin akan lebih kepada adakah kita tekan mereka lebih tinggi, ataupun kalau kita drop, adakah kita lebih dekat dengan Khairul Fahmi. There's only two ways of doing this. Which risk does he take? I'm not sure.
Jadi itu adalah pemain Vietnam yang kita perlu ikat rapi lah.
Yeah.
Betul. Dan pemain pertahanan, adakah kita perlu kekalkan yang mana ada ataupun kita do some changes? Macam kita boleh lihat Dominic juga masuk menentang Laos dengan menggantikan Aidil pada minit ke-67. So what do you think about our defense?
Adakah beliau akan bermain dengan 5 ataupun 4? Saya tidak akan rasa beliau akan tukar the back four, which is Rizal, Aidil, Syami and Syarul Saad with Khairul Fahmi. This is the back five. You don't change them in a tournament unless it's injuries or suspension. Is he going to add another person? Could be Dominic to make sure that someone drops, because I believe dalam 3 tahun menganalisa Vietnam, antara benda yang paling mereka baik adalah extra man running. Extra man running is when players like Quang Hai makes late runs that cannot be seen. So you need an extra man dropping. Maybe, I'm not sure, but it's tough. It's tough because apa yang berlaku dengan Vietnam adalah mereka mungkin akan mengawal 20% bola, 30% bola, 40% maksimum. Betul. Malaysia akan mengawal 60%, 65%. That's what the statistic is.
Tapi
dan dalam 35% Vietnam pegang, dia akan menghasilkan more quality. That's the statistics of the past. So that's where I think Tan Cheng Ho needs to read into, and I think he's doing a fantastic job because he's one of the highest analysis coach that I'm aware of, Tan Cheng Ho. So I think the boys will be having a lot of videos to watch.
Yes. Tapi pada peringkat ini dengan bertemu Vietnam esok, performance ataupun result, saya rasa result lagi penting sebab kita perlukan lagi 3 mata and we can secure and sudah layak ke separuh akhir, betul?
Kalau kita menang besok, kita akan jadi heavy favourites, immediate heavy favourites, because what will happen is basically the tide will swing. The tide will swing with the Suzuki Cup because everyone thinks Vietnam is heavy favourites.
Yeah.
The pressure will be positive and negative because suddenly you're your favourites. But winning helps the dressing room.
And goal difference pun memainkan peranan penting, betul?
Big time. But now, kalau kita menang, I don't think we need to see that because beating Vietnam is something that we wanting to do. A draw is not a bad result.
Yeah.
A draw is not a bad result. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So as usual, Stanley, dalam segmen ketiga ni kita selalu ada tactical board. Kita ada tactical board because we want to ask for your opinion. So siapakah first 11 Stanley untuk game bertemu Vietnam esok? So just share.
Saya percaya kepada don't try to fix something which is not broken. It's a very simple philosophy in football. I'll start with Rizal Ghazali, Aidil, Syarul Saad, Syamil Safari, Badrul, Mukhairi be on this side, Syafiq Ahmad, Arif Aiman, Lokman and Safawi Rashid.
Okay,
I won't change.
Same first 11.
Same first 11. But I believe that Tan Cheng Ho will have a different approach.
Yeah.
Because of how quick Vietnam is on their transition. Yeah. How quick. Because I believe that the most important thing here is basically understanding the strengths of the opponent on why they have beaten us back to back in the last 3 years.
Yeah, true, correct.
Yep.
So kita mungkin lebih bertahan?
But it's tough. Kalau kita bertahan, kita mengalukan mereka untuk menyerang kita. Maksudnya mereka betul. Kita membawa mereka ke kawasan attacking third kita. Maksud kita akan lebih dekat dengan kawasan gol. Yang mungkin kalau kita boleh berlapis, bertahan berlapis, yes, we can see out 0-0 first 45 minutes, then maybe on the counter kita score 1 goal. But if we push high, then we got to be absolutely high draining. Push high. Almost.
Wow.
Somewhere like that. This is high pressing.
This is high pressing,
and goalkeeper is here. So we take the risk. And maybe we force an error here and get a goal. Maybe. First 30 minutes and then we drop.
Yeah, maybe. It could happen.
So it could happen, but again, I'm in no place to say this because Tan Cheng Ho was like 5 times higher than my level. So this is just my suggestion on my own opinion.
Sebab kalau kita lihat pun kalau bermain bertahan sebab recently I just got back from Palestine pun. So my team against Thailand, we all know how Thailand is World Cup team, memang kuat kan. It's so tiring to play just defending. It's so tiring, but we know our level. Kita tahu kita tak boleh untuk menentang Thailand sebab Thailand begitu bagus. Tapi I believe like these boys, our boys tomorrow against Vietnam, boleh 3 mata, early goal 3 mata, then that's it. I think
penting adalah suasana bilik persalinan. I always say that. Kalau suasana bilik persalinan seperti mana menentang laut, we already are stepping in with our right foot.
Alright. Okay. Actually, Stanley, we are at the end of the program dah. Macam sedar tak sedar, macam rasa banyak benda yang kita share. Semua kita share just like, you know, because you are very experienced and all. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. And I mean, kita nak menang esok, itu yang penting. And also, jangan lupa like and subscribe. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Cakap Sukan. And jadi penonton-penonton di rumah esok, jangan lupa pukul 8.30 malam pakai jersey Malaysia, pegang bendera Malaysia. Kita ramai-ramai sokong tim Malaysia dan harapkan kemenangan. Demi lencana di dada, berita, aksi, sensasi hanya di Cakap Sukan.